It's unlisted, but it is live.
Okay.
We'll be ready to go in just a minute.
Good.
And now publish. Okay. We'll be live. We'll be live right now. Turn these back over. People coming in?
Yep. They're starting to roll up.
Good. I'm pulling up the stream on my end.
Discord just pinged.
Excellent. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's play this thing. Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Thought I'd do one more For Honor stream before the month was out, because this coming Friday is the first day of September, so it'll be the first For Honor Friday of the new month. So this will be the last one this will be the last For Honor stream we can do before the month is out. I stopped watching your video to watch your stream. Well, I appreciate that. You can always go back and watch the video, whichever one it is.
When you let yeah. Over that twist.
What? Oh, it does that sometimes. Who to go?
Well, what's with the mark over Raider?
Oh, that means that it's Raiders Hero Fest, and so they get extra XP for this one, for this fest.
Oh, okay.
I think I'll go Kyoshin, just because Kyoshin is close to that next rep, and I figure we'll go ahead and get him up there.
Good evening, Raiden. Good evening, Raiden. How are you doing?
I am doing okay. I'm doing okay. Feeling a little acidy, like got some of that acid reflux. But you know, that happens sometimes. Could have been something I ate. Could just be anxiety. I get that from time to time. Who knows? But thought we'd have some fun, maybe get my mind off things a little bit.
Don't pass the time at work. Let's go.
I'm glad that y'all are all here. I'm glad to have y'all. It's going to be a fun night. Let's try to make this fun. Raven, what was the most fun you had making a video? Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, back when I was doing more of the meme montage videos in my Heroes in History, those were always fun to make. Though no one really cared for them, I always enjoyed making them. I also like putting together the Heroes in History videos. And I had a great time writing up the stuff for the best girl and best boy in For Honor. That was a lot of fun.
Silly videos are fun.
Yeah, doing the rated S for stupid videos are very entertaining.
Speaking of which, we might have another one coming in soon.
Oh, the Warhammer thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Raven, when are you going to stream Mass Effect again? That's going to be tomorrow. We'll stream Mass Effect tomorrow. I had to take a break yesterday because I just was not feeling it. I was not feeling it.
How would the opposite Uncle Ruckus look like?
Go
on to Reddit and you'll find him.
Yeah, just probably just a white guy who hates white people. Yeah.
I mean, there was literally that one lady who was like part of the NAACP and literally pretended to be a black woman and claimed that she, even though, like, I know my skin's white, but I'm black. But
why is the stream called Step Into the Kitchen? Read the description. I explained in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi. Oh, you're a bot.
Yet they only have 3 on their team this far. I keep forgetting to watch your Mass Effect stream. Mass Effect is one of my favorite franchises. So I know I'd enjoy the stream. Yes, you can join in. That will be tomorrow evening.
Crap. What? The bot straight up was yeeted out right as they got that kill in. What?
It existed for one purpose, to freak you up.
That bot was put there for the sole purpose of killing me, and then as soon as he got that, he was gone.
Yes, correct, Regulator. If you want to find a White Uncle Ruckus, go on to Twitter as well.
Or X, as they call it.
I'm still calling it Twitter.
Yeah, it's still Twitter. I don't know. I don't think the X name will catch on in our lifetime.
Yeah. But if you want to find a normal Uncle Ruckus, 4chan. Bonk.
Crap.
Zeeting on Zitter.
Ooh! Raider with the comeback.
Yeah, it just don't have the same ring to it now, do it? My job here is done. I equal evening. I did miss the last streak, so this one is a blessing from the Lord. I blink and then suddenly there's 3 of them.
Thank you!
Oh, that was a thanks, guys. Man.
I took one with me. That's all that matters.
Worth it.
That was fun. That was fun. I actually was kind of like I love how I parried all of them like one after the other. Bam, bam, bam.
Just another revenge. Don't mind if I do.
No mind if I do. I'll take that all day.
Bots feel absolutely cracked sometimes, especially when you get hit. Get hit with the one. Yeah, like a botchery will just come out of nowhere and just go, I have been programmed to kill you, and you specifically.
God, that execution looked so lame. I'm sorry. Like, just watching it there for a moment, it looked so lame.
So, who would be a better girl? Law Mommy or Shugo Mommy?
Law Mommy. I'm going Law Mommy.
Yeah, same. So I feel like she'd be strict. But I think Shugo would probably know where all the best restaurants are.
Ooh, that was moving. That was moving. Oh crap.
Hey, Larkin Raven, how would Uncle Ruckus react and feel about old people? Just watch a Boondocks episode and you'll get a vague notion of how he feels about it. Like, one of the funniest things he said, like when I described Obama in the GOP presidential debates, which he almost won. Oh boy.
There we go. There we go. I'm sorry, that looks dumb. Stop doing it.
Hey Raven, what if Astrid fought young Holden Cross? Now we're getting into Mortal Kombat stuff there. We're bringing people back in from in their prime.
I mean, how much younger? Because we don't know how long Holden was gone.
I guess like right as he's like maxed out to
Ouch.
hot. To be honest, we might need the strictness of Law Mommy with bringing it breeds discipline.
Yes, we need that disciplined mommy. You know, Shugo mommy's going to want to just feed you and plump you up, which is great, but mamas need to be able to discipline their kids.
Hey, if the Law Mommy wants to teach me how to do the one-arm push-up, I'm game. She's like, you will flex on your enemies. All right. Do you think the minions go up and see you tearing them apart and just want to go back to the local blacksmith and go, I'd like a refund on the shield? It does nothing. New Raider Execution is only decent because it kills pretty fast, otherwise the animation feels wonky. Fair.
I can agree with that.
Fair. What kind of hero would you personally like to see in For Honor next, like what culture, weapon, etc.? So we know that Vikings next, but what would you like to see next?
Rajput. I'll say that as many times as I have to. Oh god.
Paladin would also be nice.
Crap. Crap.
Maybe Maori with a hook.
Maori with a hook? I don't know. I mean, that'd be kind of neat, but how would they do that? I don't know.
If they do that, they better have a fishing email.
That is true. They would need to have a fishing. Although Nusha has a fishing signature.
I know, but use the hook in the fishing.
Oh.
Using.
Actually, where did you get the inspiration for that? Just your classic Paladin from like D&D and stuff.
Yeah,
if Jormungandr can be a work of fiction, why can't we have a work of
and
fiction?
realistically speaking, the gear, if you want to find that, the Venetians and other Italian city-states had hammer infantry where they would have a shield in one hand and they'd have a warhammer in the other. So they wouldn't have been called paladins, but there were mercenaries and Italian soldiers that used warhammers and shields. So there is historical precedent for it. Like, I mean, if like you remember playing Assassin's Creed 2, you could buy like the Mercutio Warhammer, that sort of thing. If you played Medieval 2, the Venice's special troops are Warhammer units. Obviously, we see Holden in his late 30s in the campaign. I thought he was older than his late 30s. I thought he was like in his 40s.
I thought so too. I thought Holden was in his 40s in the campaign. Like, I thought he was like 43 or something.
I'd love a hoplite, at least some kind of knight with a long spear and a big shield, paladin-esque. I would commit a crime so Lawmon would break my neck. Oh, it's just like the meme. Harder Daddy, what?
Harder Daddy, what? What? Hey Raven, what's up with this last stream's thumbnail? Read the description. I've said that already. Read the description. I explain.
I think Raider's new execution looks weird because it isn't motion captured like the rest of them.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, hey Lord, why didn't the Italian city-states unify earlier? For the same reason why the Greek city-states didn't unify earlier. Because each city-state sort of had its own political interests out for itself. And to unify, they would have to give up some of their autonomy and independence to the larger collective in the group. Like, all of them were like, Venice would have been happy for Italy to unify as long as Venice was in charge. Florence would have been happy to unify Italy as long as Florence was in charge.
It's kind of like the reason the Koreans, the South and North Koreans will never get together. They're like, oh yeah, we'll gladly get back together if our Korea is in charge of everything, if you adopt our political and social policies. And they're kind of like, no, we're not doing that.
There's a similar reason why, like, if you went to Europe and say, why don't you just make the EU an official super government and get rid of all the other governments, every single country would go, excuse you, no.
That's why the one world government ideal that a lot of leftists want isn't anything that can happen soon. And the one reason is because despite everyone saying, yeah, I love the world, man, we're all one people, you still got lots of people saying, yeah, we're all one people, but our country's best. You know?
Yeah, that's why partially the Italians had to be unified through force.
Yep.
I mean, hey, Rome had to do it. Kingdom of not Sicily.
Raven, who's your favorite hero to play? I play everybody. I'm not sure if I have a favorite, but I do enjoy playing Warden just because Warden has the aesthetic, and I love Warden so much just because they're the classic knight. I also like playing Lawbringer. They're very fun. Tiandi is just dodge light spammer, the character. I do admittedly have fun playing Magi just because they are such Oonga Boonga. People keep talking about, oh no, you know, Ocelotl is just Magi but with a little extra Oonga Boonga. And I'm like, maybe you're right, but isn't Oonga worth the Boonga, you know?
Because I Oonga, therefore I think Germany wants a federated EU. Well, yeah, that's because the EU is backed by the German bank. They're the most strong economy in Europe right now, with the only contestant being probably Britain.
Raven, I hope everything goes all right at your steakhouse. It usually does. Like, I just have a shift there tomorrow. I work there from 10:45 to about 5:30, so it'll be a full afternoon shift. So should be okay as long as I get over this kind of acid reflux thing. It shouldn't be a problem. I do pretty well there.
Don't know if any Italians can confirm this, but how my Italian friends puts it, there's still a bit of prejudice between various cities, areas, and ethnicities in Italy. That's true, but that's not unique to Italy. Like you can go to pretty much any country in the world, and you're going to find differences and various regions, like the United States. You get the whole like Southerner versus Yankee thing, rural versus city.
Territories are always going to have like historical feuds, you know.
And I remember once being in Epcot, France, and our waiter who was from France, obviously. So just like if you go to visit France, don't visit northern France. They're rude there. Visit southern France. We're nice there. And I've heard someone from northern France say the exact inverse. It's very funny. Well, people from England say, don't go to London. It's crap. Go somewhere else.
Crap.
Isn't Oonga worth the Oonga Sun Tzu? Even the Unified Earth government from Halo has its own set of issues. They're very overbearing. Yeah, that's part of the reason why we had so many insurrectionists in the first place.
Anyway, let's see. How were you introduced to For Honor Raven? We got it on launch. Like we got it the day it came out. Like we just saw the trailer and we wanted it, you know. Like we were like, let's get this. Hey Raven, what's your opinion on America? We love America. I mean, we live in it, you know.
It is my homeland. It is my country of origin, and I love it despite its faults.
And it does have faults. Don't get us wrong. It has problems, but
they're
we love it.
located in D.C. If you really want to try it. Isn't that kind of the thing with Canada right now with the whole French-speaking thing? Listen, the French Canadians are still upset they lost the 7 Years' War 3 centuries later. They are still sore about it. They don't even want to be a part of France anymore. They're just upset they lost. And they have to take that out on any poor guy that happens to drive through Canada and ask for directions. True story, our father, he had a business trip in Canada back when he still used to work for a bank. And he had to go to Quebec. And so he was in Quebec. He didn't quite know where he was because this was the time before GPS satellites. So he pulls over to a gas station and goes up to a woman and goes, "Excuse me, ma'am, could you please tell me where where this location is?" And she starts rattling off at him in rapid French, like, he calmly just says, "Okay.
Let's try this again.
I know you can understand me. Just tell me where I need to go and I'll be out of your hair." And she goes, "Fine," and she tells him.
It's kind of like, I don't know why you want to be difficult. I don't know why you want to cause problems.
And for ladies out there, it's like, why don't guys ask for directions? This is the exact kind of nonsense why. But I don't know. Like, I had my own experience with the French Canadians because I used to work at an Olive Garden and I was a host. And we're supposed, as we're taking families back, we're supposed to chat like, "Hey, how you doing? How's your day?" Typical sort of thing. And as I was taking one family of French Canadians back because they wanted to come to Myrtle Beach for some reason, and I was just like,
I don't know why we're doing this.
We're just dancing around.
Well, no, they've pushed us back to our spawning area. And I don't understand this lawbringer either. Earlier when I was fighting the Jormungandr, he was nice and just let me fight the Jormungandr. Now he's ganking. I don't know the rules anymore.
You never will. But yeah, so I took this family back, and I was saying, "Hey, how you doing?" So just roll into town. Shoved her hand like an inch away from my nose, and just sticks her face up at me and goes, "No hombre." It's like, "Oh, forgive me."
Then that's when I say, "Great, you effing," and then just let her have it in as many cuss words as I can think of. And then when she reacts, like, "How dare you?" Like, "Oh, so you do understand English? How about we try this again?"
Thing is, just like, listen, I get not everybody speaks English, even those that visit America. But the thing is, understand, like, don't get mad at me for speaking my own language in my own country. I'm not going to go up to Canada and go, "Why is everyone speaking French here?" Like, I get it.
I was asked a minute ago whether I know more Japanese or Chinese history. Definitely more Japanese. I'm familiar with Chinese history to a point, and I understand the basics of the different dynasties, but I am not as well versed.
There's a lot more of a population and geography to go with Chinese history. Or even it sounds like a Karen. It was a French-Canadian Karen. Oh yeah, like your closest French-speaking country from where we were was Haiti. I don't know what you expected me to do. I mean, I had plenty of Hispanic families come in that when there's like, listen, most of us speak Spanish, so we brought someone that sort of was going to speak for the party. They were nice. They could cooperate with us. They knew what to do. But don't give me a hard time just because I don't speak your language. What For Honor character would make the best chef?
I don't like this Lawbringer very much. He kind of steps in just to secure his kill once he knows that the enemy can't fight back. Like, earlier when I was fighting the Jormungandr, I had full health and he didn't want to bother with me out of fear of rising my revenge. Earlier, the Tiandi was attacking me from behind, and so he attacked me while I was focusing on the Tiandi. And here, I was down to 1 health, and he decides to ram me from behind and get me into the wall so that he can finish the kill. I think what this guy does is he just likes to secure his kills. It's a little cringe. It's a little cringe, fellas, just saying.
Don't be the guy, earn your kills. Lawbringer's a terrible chef, definitely. I feel like someone who would overcook everything.
No, you don't get that. Ah, okay, he's a light barrier. No, you don't get to do that. You do not get to do that. No, what is this Lawbringer doing? He is so inconsistent.
He's what we call an asshole.
I don't. What are the rules? What are the rules? I don't understand it. This Lawbringer has no problem ganking me from behind while I'm fighting Tiandi, has no problem securing a kill on only one health left, but then when he faces me alone in A, he wants to do a salute and then wants to let me fight Tiandi on my own. What is with this guy?
Well, he wasn't trying to let you fight the Tiandi. He wanted the Tiandi to weaken you up.
Ah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, because he was going to pull, because that's what he did earlier.
I don't understand this guy.
Well,
I really don't.
Here's what some players do is they try, like when it's one-on-one, it's like, hey, we're going to be honorable. We're going to be like, so they'll focus, and so hopefully if another one of their teammates, and they'll back off and try and be polite. But if one of their teammates show up, they're like, okay, honor's out the window, I have the advantage now. Yeah, it's a false flag tactic. Hey, Raven and Mark, have you ever been killed by a teammate in For Honor? Yeah.
Yep, we have.
It's a lot harder to do than something like Rainbow, but by George, it can be done. Is everyone just want to let the Tiandi do their work for them?
Yeah, pretty much. They just want the Tiandi to go in and weaken you up. Because the Tiandi can very easily get in their fast lights and dodge lights, so that even if you kill a Tiandi, you're destined to take some damage.
Mm-hmm. One thing I learned recently is that Gallic tribes killed any king or chief that attempted unification.
That has happened.
But not necessarily any of them, but the thing is, when you have a tribal society, any one single leader that tries to unify them under a single banner is going to face kickback from the other tribes, because agreeing to unify under one leader means that you are losing that each tribe is losing its own individual autonomy. What do you guys think of Chivalry 2? Fun game. I kind of prefer For Honor, but oh dear.
Yep. See this guy? There's no honor in this asshole. None whatsoever. He wants you to think there is, but there's none. This guy's an effing bitch.
No. The only Legend of Zelda game either of us played was like this weird one that came free with like our DS. Can't remember what it was called. It was like Four Swords or something.
Yeah, he's a light barrier. God damn. Wait, did you notice that he suddenly threw that heavy the moment my own heavy was going? Is he scripting? No, I'm genuinely curious. Is he scripting? Because no, my heavy was going, and instantly I saw his own try to go up the block. I'm not gonna say he's PlayStation. I don't think he's scripting, but it felt like it.
You ever heard of Warhaven?
Yes, I have. It's not out yet. Until it is, I have no opinion on it one way or the other.
Which one's Warhaven again?
It's a 12v12 medieval style game, but with magical elements.
Oh. Would you rather have Apollyon or Astria become president of the U.S.? I don't.
Neither.
Because that's a good way to get everything nuked. As soon as I wish for some games to go back to the way they were meant to be played, Rainbow Six is one of them. Yeah. There are a few changes to Rainbow I actually do like having the reinforced walls be sort of shared, so you don't have two that are just lost because somebody wanted to go roam.
Yeah, that guy got 16 kills, died only once, was able to parry all of my lights. Just what the hell?
Yeah. Console players can script too. Yeah, but it's a lot harder.
But man, that was painful. I gotta get one more kill too, that's what sucks.
Yeah, retracking action.
Hey Raven, what For Honor character would make a better chef? Shugoki maybe?
Shugoki, Pirate would be able to probably be the best scrounger.
Oh, the Lawbringer's on our team now. Let's see if that lasts.
Probably have to still stick with Shugoki.
Yeah, I'll still go with Shugoki on that one. Yeah.
Which For Honor character would make the best president?
I don't know. Holden maybe?
Holden Cross in terms of what's best for the country, in terms of actually being able to win, I'm going to go with Dominic. Because Dominic seems like a political animal to me. But never forget what Aristotle said.
Aristotle, I like that. Oh, so our Lawbringer from last match is playing a warden this time. All right.
But never forget Bear. It's like, if man is a political animal, then I, a political animal, must be a man. I think that's a false equivalence.
Ah! Hey Raven, what are your thoughts on Baldur's Gate 3? Also, is there any controversy around it? Well, I'm going to be real honest with you, dude. If you don't know about the Baldur's Gate controversy right now, I don't believe you. It's been all over social media, all over YouTube, all over the news. You can't even type in Baldur's Gate 3 without hearing about the controversy. There is controversy around it, lots of controversy around it. And yes, I do know about it. I haven't gotten it yet. Lorik has it. He's been playing it on his PC.
Having a great time.
I'm waiting for it to come out on PlayStation so that I can get it there.
Yeah.
Time to see if he's scripting or not. He may be. I have no idea. We'll find out. Hey Raven, do you like the name I picked for my BP? Saint Montgomery Huguenot? It's fine. Pirate would at least respect democracy. Warden and Lawbringer would have the ethics, though.
Wardens and Lawbringers, definitely. I think Wardens would be heavier on the ethics and morality of it. Lawbringer would be letter of the law. You would want a Lawbringer actually, I would put the Lawbringers as what I would put on the Supreme Court. Read the law, go by the letter of it. Conk is bailiff, though. Have you ever played Pizza Tower? No. I don't know what that is. Lark's playing an Irish Barbarian in Baldur's Gate 3. Actually, no. I'm currently playing a Druid. Which is very interesting.
Sucks.
Yep. Alright. USA is a democracy, though. Yeah, we're a republic.
On that note, why call them priors when I call them Templars or Paladins? Because priors are a church ordained, like part of the hierarchy.
Because keep in mind, they also don't want to name them directly off of anything too historical there. Because like there's a reason why they didn't call the Afir a mammal use either.
Raven, why you double team that warlord? I don't know. Why they triple team me?
Because you live under a rock. So okay, so just to catch you up, Skylander, the controversy. There's twofold controversy. One, apparently in the game there is a druid that you can romance that wild shapes randomly into animals. Like that isn't on their control, and that's been some controversy for reasons I will let you look up. Then there's the controversy that Baldur's Gate 3 turned out to be such a good game and so well grounded that a lot of other game developers and games journalists are upset because it sort of raised the standard and raised the bar on them, and they're complaining that they now have to work harder. They're not phrasing it like that, but since the bar has been raised, they're not happy about it. It's like, what, you mean we can't continue to just shovel out crap?
Pretty much. The idea is that people believe that Baldur's Gate is the peak of what gaming should be.
Particularly for its genre. Raven, how much Unga could a Unga Bunga? If an Unga Bunga could Unga Bunga. That's Unga Bunga Square right there.
Wait, I had my guard that. Why?
I don't know. Sometimes the guard just says no. Okay, so genuine criticism and dumb stuff. Yeah, well, there's some criticism over some stupid stuff they have in the game, and then there's some, like, not like woke nonsense or anything like that, just genuinely that's kind of silly, and then there's like a criticism of like, hey, how dare you raise the standard? Yeah. They probably could have made a whole Persian faction, Manu, Janus, Ares, Hashasins, and Immortals. Maybe. Why do you think For Honor got a bigger budget that the game could use? Do you think if For Honor got a bigger budget, the game could use much more of its budget thing just as an excuse to people? I think they're saying, what do you think For Honor could do with a bigger budget?
Hold on. There. Oh, hi, Apollyon.
What'd you get here?
If it had a big enough budget, it could have gone way bigger, I feel like.
I definitely feel like we'd be getting some more maps. Definitely, we could also crack out the no-caption suit, so we probably would get newer, more executions more frequently. We'd probably just get, the key thing there would just be more content. And more content would always be good for the game. Yeah, look, it's the best game for its genre, I would argue. And even then, if someone wanted to argue that, I could understand it. But it's one of the best AAA games to come out in a while.
Yep. I mean, I genuinely think it's one of the best fighting games out there. I know it's not balanced, and I know it has a lot of problems, but I think it's one of the best that's out there right now.
Yep.
Raven, could you maybe Five Nights at Freddy game? No. Not going to play that live. Too many people already have. There's not a lot of point. Everyone kind of knows how it works now, and I wouldn't really be happy with people telling me exactly how to do it. Like, you need to check this hallway, you need to check that hallway, put your flashlight there, you know, like, I wouldn't enjoy that. Good try.
Dodge roll. Oh, yeah. More maps would definitely be a thing that And it's so many people have requested it too. I'm hoping that since they've listened, like, hey, we've given you the Middle Eastern warrior, we've given you the fire, we've given you the Egyptian, and we've now given you the Aztec. I'm hoping they'll say, like, okay, there's also been a large request for maps. Maybe we'll finally get some more of those. Have you heard of Until Dawn?
Nope.
You actually have, you just don't know my name. Remember that one time I was playing on, it's like a more story-based horror game?
Oh yeah, I remember that. I just didn't get far. I really wasn't all that interested.
Yeah, I tried to convince him to play it once. I honestly need to pick it up and play it again. I never finished. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something. Maybe I'll do something with it during Halloween. Probably not. I'll probably have other things on my plate. Raven, do you know the show The Boys? I like it, but I feel like it actively goes against what I believe, and I shouldn't continue watching. Like, what verses of the Bible should I read for help?
I don't know anything about The Boys.
The Boys is basically an Amazon TV show based off the comic, where basically you have a bunch of, where basically superheroes are bad, evil, or corrupted, and the boys are a bunch of misfits that go and try and find a way to take them down.
I don't know enough about it to say one thing or the other in terms of spirituality, but if it is not, Romans 14 says that if something is unclean to you, then you are partaking in it without faith, and without faith is ungodly. So it's kind of like, take anime for example. I personally don't see a problem with anime, but another person I know who's a Christian may see that anime is evil or sinful. While I can disagree, the fact is, I shouldn't go to this person and say, hey, come on, man, watch anime with me. You'll like it. Come on. Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to force this person to behave in a way that they see as sinful, and that's not godly. I should not force them to adhere to something that I see is fine when they don't. But on the other side of that discussion, hold on. Dang, I'm not doing well tonight. But I can't tell this person to watch with me because that would be leading them into sin. But on the other end of that, they can't condemn me for liking it, because it's like, my faith is strong enough that I don't see the issue with it. And they can tell me what they think the issue is, and I can reply, I don't think that's an issue because of this reason, and they can disagree, but at the end of the day, it's not a major issue for us as Christians because our relationship is with God. So if you personally feel that The Boys is somehow wrong and it's tainting your spiritual life, give it up. Drop it, And I would read Romans 14 on that point. But don't condemn people who watch it, and don't look for reasons to hate it. I think that's another thing that people do wrong all the time. They try to convince people, this is clearly sinful and I want you to think so too, so you need to drop it. There are some things that I think we can agree are sinful, like porn. I think we can all agree is sinful. Dishonoring the Lord is sinful. Like, these are all things that we shouldn't do, and we shouldn't partake in them. I agree with that. But then there are other things, like I feel like this TV show isn't something I understand, therefore it's sinful. Anime is something that is made in Japan, and Japan isn't really Christian that much, so that must be sinful. That's ridiculous. There's no need to explain the plot to me. I'll be real honest. No offense to you guys, but I don't really care.
Yeah. So if you actually want, like, you don't want to watch the show or read the comic, but you want to get caught up on all the war and all that stuff, Pointless Hub does a great summary of it, where he basically explains why the show is slightly better than the comic, because the comic is absolutely insane. So yeah, you can check that out, and you'll be caught up on the war.
Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna play the bots.
Yeah. Let's ride.
I need to chill out. I want to play the bots, so let's do that. Hey Raven, are there any semi-authentic Shintoist anime that you like? Example, Inuyasha, Noragami, Nora Rise of the Yokai Clan. I like Nora Rise of the Yokai Clan. That's entertaining. I never really liked Inuyasha, and I don't know what Noragami is.
Time to bully the AI until they turn Terminator. Japan's religion was majority Shinto rather than Christianity, so I never really saw an issue with anime.
Well, some people think that because it's Shintoist in nature, that is automatically anti-Christian. There are people out there who believe that every other religion that exists was somehow inspired by demons, and that's just ridiculous. Religions throughout history have always been inspired by the culture. The culture created the religion. Like, for example, Buddhism and Hinduism were all created through the culture that existed in India and China at the time. Shintoism was something that it was an animist religion that was built up over time through that culture. So most religions are reflections of the people and the culture of the time. So saying that Shintoism or any other religion, non-Christian, is somehow inspired by demons or it's demonic in nature, not necessarily.
Yeah. Unless you're like doing some like Baal Haman worship, in which case I might believe you. Because as soon as you put baby sacrifice in there, I'm inclined to think there may be something off with that. I will admit, this bot has good grip.
It's a bot 3. They're going to have good drip. They're going to have good moves.
What's your opinion on agnostics?
I have no problem with agnostics. Everyone kind of is. I think that a lot of us at one point were agnostic. We weren't sure what we believed. We weren't sure where we stood. We had questions we wanted to learn, but eventually they came to a conclusion. The thing is, I wouldn't go through life bragging about it. Like, I wouldn't go through life saying, dude, I'm agnostic, man. That's not something I brag about. That's the equivalent of saying, dude, I'm awesome. I haven't decided who I am. It's like if someone said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I haven't decided. Okay, but the class is all talking about what they want to be when we grow up. Oh, okay. Then my project is, I don't know. But you need to come up with an answer. That's the point of the assignment. Nah, man, I'm in the right spot. So you're in a place of ignorance, and you know that, and you're proud of it. Yeah, man. How do you live with yourself?
I'm pretty sure Carthage didn't sacrifice babies because they were evil. Well, why else would you sacrifice them?
Okay, give us a better reason why you sacrifice babies.
When you're sacrificing Haman, in the same manner in the same way that they did in Canaan, you gotta go. I mean, they may not have considered it evil. I consider it evil. I don't consider all of Carthage necessarily evil. I consider that definitely an evil practice.
I consider that practice evil, and I'm sure that they have their reasons for doing it.
Yeah, good harvests. Hey Raven, how did Georgia and Armenia stay Christian despite countless Islamic conquests in the later centuries?
You can largely thank that on the push back against the Ottoman Empire post World War I. You can also thank that on the fact that those territories were largely in conflict with Muslims because those are kind of the fringe of the Ottoman Empire. And so when the Ottoman Empire started waning in power, they didn't have a lot of ground to stand on. In Shintoism, the line that differentiates God from demon is very thin. Well, that's because in Shintoism, they believe that all things have a God within them. All things have a kami. And how those kami behave can range from benevolent to malevolent. And so because of that, you know, you have your aratama, you have your ayakashi, you have your nigitama, you have all kinds of different kinds of spirits. Some will hurt you, some will not. Some will help, some will be tricky. You know, they run the gambit.
Yep.
Crap.
So are there similarities between Orthodoxy and Protestantism?
There are some. They both don't like the Catholics very much.
It depends on the Orthodox Church too, because they're Serbian Orthodox, Romanian Orthodox, Greek Orthodox. Like in some Orthodox denominations, just like Protestants, they're priests, or rather priests for them, pastors for us, can get married and have children. I mean, they're both Christian, so definitely a lot of overlapping similarities there. Hey Raven, have you ever had a cross necklace?
Yes.
He still has one.
I still have one, yeah.
Raven, what's your opinion on sanctifying of the religion, like the early church group I heard Paul did it with the Greeks? Sanctifying the religion.
What do you mean sanctifying the religion?
Like he converted Greeks. He didn't sanctify their practices.
Yeah, never before has a Christian walked in and said, your religion's fine, it's totally Christian now. It's not how that works.
Sounds like some Church of England nonsense right there.
大丈夫ですか? Ah, genki desu. Anata wa?
No comprende.
Well, I was just asked, they said that they were still learning Japanese, and they asked me, Daijoubu desu ka, which means, how are you? And I said, Genki desu, anata wa, which means, I'm good, how are you?
Yes. One thing I don't get about Marvel is that when Thor, a literal god, shows up, they didn't appear to be a flood of new Ostruists. I'm assuming that's another term for followers of Norse paganism. Well, the thing is, Thor in the Marvel Universe made it pretty clear that he was not actually a god. He was just sort of
He was just an all-powerful being.
Yeah. So, like now that they had more interaction with the before, like, I can't remember what they called them, so Aesir. So that the fact they had more interaction with them, they said, hey, we don't want to be worshipped. That would have put a stop to that. But I don't know, maybe there was an uptick. Also then you had Ragnarok happen where their whole world got destroyed and now they're just kind of chilling living on Earth. Which kind of like, because the last I saw it looked like it was just a little fishing town. Doesn't exactly inspire the majesty of worship, but you know, Church of England nonsense. I just see a lot of stuff from the Church of England every now and again where certain clerics are doing silly things. Like one I saw a couple years back where this one Church of England, a priest claimed to also be a Celtic pagan at the same time, saying that Jesus was the chief druid, to which he was like, tell me you're a heretic without telling me you're a heretic. Gomenasai, Raven. Watashi wa nihon no to gahansai chisei desu. I butchered that, I'm sure.
Sorry, Raven, I do not speak Japanese well. That's what I got from that. Well, trust me, I don't yet either. I'm still learning the language.
We being ignored. We are being ignored. Can you name an Australian god or being a mythical other than that spider dude? The spider dude was from Africa. We're talking about Anasi, right?
Anasi? Yeah, Anasi's African.
Yeah, but there is an Australian god, you know, like Mamaragon.
Mamaragon is an Australian god.
Thunder deity, I believe.
Yep. How was I not in range for that?
How can you tell someone's a heretic? If they start arguing for, like, if they start saying something's Christian that is not actually, how is this? If it's good, if what they're saying is going against what the Bible and God teaches, even though, and they're still trying to peddle it off as Christianity. And honestly, the first Spider-Man, yes.
Pretty much. One of the first.
Call me nitpicking. In the recent Ulthor and Ruth, it said slavery was banned in Heath.
Yeah.
Heathmore, but one of your Legends video also implies that slavery was practiced by the Vikings. Is that consistent?
Historically, the Vikings did practice slavery.
Yes. And also, I like to think that, because these are legends, so one might take place further in the past than...
Yeah, they don't all take place at the same time period.
Australia, Saxton Hill.
We got it. All right. Little touch and go there, but Goki just swung for the fences.
story mode, even a reference that if you're captured by Vikings, you become their slave. So yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Trying to tie Japanese into my daily language to give me experience as I go, but it ain't working so well.
It takes a lot of practice, and also you've got to learn different verbs and how they work. So yeah, it's not an easy thing to do.
Heck of a language to learn. Hey Raven, okay, Raven, if it's not too personal to ask, you don't have to answer this if you don't feel comfortable answering. What is one area of your spiritual life where you struggle in?
One area that I struggle in is overcoming personal fear. I have hypochondria, so I'm always afraid of things that happen to my body, like sickness, and I'm always afraid when I go to the doctor's office. I'm always afraid of like getting sick and like cancer and stuff like that. And even though I know that the Lord will protect and that the Lord has a plan for me, sometimes I let my fear of sickness and fear of personal loss get the better of me. So I'm constantly living in fear of that kind of stuff. Like, for example, right now, I'm suffering from acid reflux, so I've got this burning in the back of my throat, and I'm also burping a lot, so it causes me to burp up a lot of acid a lot, which is very embarrassing and also very painful. And that's going on literally right now as I'm playing. And it makes me afraid, because I can't always know why that's happening. And because I don't know the reason for it, makes me more afraid. I should trust God and know that this probably is just something that I've had before and will probably pass, as they do, because acid reflux is not an uncommon thing. Burping sometimes is actually a side effect of my medication. So I shouldn't be worried about this kind of stuff, but I am. And so I shouldn't be. I should trust in the Lord to heal me, trust in the Lord that He will provide me with what I need. And sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I focus on my own fear, and that fear causes me to doubt, and that doubt can lead me to panicking. So that is one area that I think I struggle with most in terms of my faith.
All right. Do you think the Samurai will get a new hero skin at the beginning of year 8?
I have no idea. I would need to see what their plan is for year 8 before I could even start to speculate on that.
I wish Ubisoft would expand more on Rome and the Centurions and For Honor. Been trying to write some personal lore, and it's been rough because no one gives definite answers. Speaking of Centurions.
Yeah, I agree with that. Gladiator and Centurion have gotten very limited lore, which is sad because I like them. Iragon is more traditional. Katakana is used for foreign words. Yes. I don't know what that has to do with what we were
Someone
talking
asked what's the
about.
difference between Iragon.
Oh, okay.
My pa's an emergency medical physician, and he's always says that God uses his hands to heal the sick and the wounded. Smart man.
Hey Raven, do you love your enemies the way Jesus did? I don't think anyone can love their enemies the way Jesus did, but I do try. I try not to hate people. That's something that I try not to do. I may not like people. I may not like the way people act or what they do or what they say, but I try to love everyone. I try not to hate anybody. Like, even a person who's done me wrong, I still try to, care about their needs. Like, I don't wish death on anybody. Like, as much as I may hate certain people and what they do, I don't wish death on anybody.
Yeah. Except the Terrians, but they're not people. I kid, of course. Jesus was just built different. Not the way I would have put it, but yes.
Well, he kind of was the Son of God.
Yeah, it's part of the Trinity, so what are you going to do? Roman's undergone character development. He no longer hates Ravenous. Undergone character development. He no longer hates gladiators. Well, gladiator is a class.
I hate gladiators. I don't hate people who play gladiator.
Do Highlander and Shaman have more lore, or are they like the Romans?
Kind of like the Romans. It's very vague. Like, even Highlander has more lore than Shaman does. Shaman's whole lore was just, they were crazy ladies.
Yeah, and I think part of that so you can sort of form your own lore around them, and I think the other part of that is they were lazy. I always say I hate people, but But the fact of the matter is I can never bring myself to actually truly hate someone. Understandable. You say also you can say things in the heat of the moment that you don't actually mean. Like I think all of us at one point or another is like, man, I hate my mom or dad, and you really don't hate them. You're just frustrated at it. You can say that again. You boys Italian? Getting a lot of the hands.
Ouch.
Oh no, the bonk.
The bonk was not on my side that time.
Let me see. I would argue that with the world consistency of Heath more like I talked earlier, but that'll turn into nitpicking. Okay, well, if you don't want to go into that. I'd say my worst sin is wrath followed by gluttony, but gluttony is a part of a hard sell for me, particularly around a barbecue buffet. There's hating people and there's people looking at me. Even then, man.
That Shaolin has light parried me twice.
All right, Terminator, settle down. Bonk. I don't remember when History Channel tried to claim that Jesus would have eaten a Passover meal that contained black pepper as though it wasn't absurdly expensive back then.
I mean,
I don't know what was on the budget back then. I do not have the receipt from the Last Supper. I regret to inform you.
let's see. You think God has a sense of humor at times? I know He does.
He made us.
He made us, didn't He? Yeah.
Just gotta say, you know what? This couple right here, they need two jokesters.
Yeah, literally. Like sometimes I am sure God is.
You also can't look at a platypus and tell me he wasn't going, Gabriel, look at this. Look at this thing.
He didn't have to make platypi the way He did, but He made them that way. He probably made them knowing there would be one called Perry at some point.
So you cannot, my lord, you cannot just make an animal just for a children's cartoon and thousands of years later, watch me, I'm gonna do it.
Sometimes I think God just made dinosaurs to entertain people.
So I'm 25% Polish, 25% Russian, 25 of Japanese, 25 of Cherokee. You got it neatly divided into quarters. However, this has been a pleasure and amazing. I need to get back to applying for scholarships and take a shower. Good night to both of you and everyone in chat. God bless. Well, take care, Lando the Mando. One way I would improve Marvel stores set Ragnarok during the Ice Age and bring back Donald Blake as a vessel for Thor's reincarnated soul.
Okay.
I just thought it'd be interesting to see how they would handle Donald Blake. America is a nation of foreigners. They practically shape the entire nation, including Native Americans. By that, I mean Texas, baby. Woo!
Pretty much.
Curse you, Barry Atlantis.
I always like how it's very obviously a platypus that shows up to stop him. And then he just, a platypus? Then it puts on the hat. What other bipedal platypuses do you know that try to screw up your plans?
Well, it's the guy that typically comes by and fixes his cave. Different fellow. We don't have the heart tongue that's also Perry, and Perry feels lonely without him.
We would all feel lonely without Doofenshmirtz, man.
Yeah, I tell you. How did you get caught in that? That's not even a trap.
It's not even a trap. How did you? I love how Doofenshmirtz, every single one of his evil plans, like all of his inventions and stuff, they're just for such petty reasons. Like none of them are actually for like world domination or millions of dollars. Just like he says that he's going to blow up a building because it blocks his view or something, or because it gets the shade gets in his eyes. It's just like I'm like, dude, practicing real life goals now.
The Last Supper would not have contained black pepper as a spice that was only present on the tables of the wealthy. I suppose. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
God really bailed out the Tri-State area with his brain. Turns out in Norse myth, Odin was exiled, not Thor, but. Imagine if Doofenshmirtz played For Honor or D&D. Oh gosh, I would love to see Doofenshmirtz as a DM. That would be wild. I feel like Perry is Just for Kids Batman. Get a villain who wants to do something, hero appears, doesn't try to kill him or stop him, but villain bounces back.
Yeah, that kind of does sound like Batman, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's basically like how the old live action Batman was. Like Joker wasn't trying to like prove any point. He was like his crimes weren't murdering people. It was just like I'm gonna rob a bank and throw mustaches on people. What are you gonna do?
Give me just a second, brother. I need to be right back.
All right.
Be right back.
Show up to the mission, ladies and gentlemen. A platypus plumber? What's on that? Perry the platypus plumber. Takes a bit. Perry the platypus. See, the hat is Perry. The hat makes the platypus. Robbie Rotten versus Doofenshmirtz. Oh, the crossover we all need. I like how when actual villains team up with Doofenshmirtz, the first reaction was literally, is this guy is serious? Yeah, during the days of Adam West Batman, it was very hokey, very campy, but it was fun for kids. And what's funny is, like, Batman was not selling well back in the day, and Adam West's Batman actually kind of saved it. We think of Batman as, like, this dark knight and brooding over justice and other stuff like that, but it was really the goofy, campy thing that actually boosted him into Starlight and saved the comic line that allowed us to get the lovable edgelord we have nowadays. My issue with Batman is that there's some villains that deserve to die, like Joker. Oh, I'm 100% on board with you on that, because, like, and here's the thing, I respect Batman has a no-killing code. I completely understand why he doesn't want to be the guy to do that. But he shouldn't stop people from doing, like, for example, let's say that, like, I also blame, like, on this, I think he's in the state of New Jersey. Like, I don't know why they don't just immediately, like, put a lethal injection into Joker or throw him in the electric chair. Or better yet, just have a cop, like I said, like, no cop as they're driving him back to Arkham has just said, you know what, screw this, and just turn around and put a cap in his head. But just go ahead and do that. I mean, let's say you're the cop that kills the Joker, or you're a random bystander that kills the Joker. Even if he's already handcuffed or something, after all the nonsense he's done, what jury would convict you? Like, that's my question there. But yeah, I get irritated with Batman on that too, but I understand where he's coming from, and I don't necessarily want him to compromise his morals, but I don't want him to get in the way of other people that are willing to do that. Like, I remember one comic, like it was a crossover comic where the Punisher was about to kill the Joker, like literally about to kill him, and Batman stops him and tells Joker to run and beats up the Punisher. I'm like, why? Why would you stop him? Why? Just let nature take its course, Batman. Like, if anyone that you fought deserves to die, it's the Joker. There's once a comic where Joker was on death row and it caused mass riots. Why? Why? Absolutely. Hold on, I gotta check a message. Sorry about that, I had to respond to somebody. And in Justice, he literally nukes Gotham. He doesn't nuke Gotham, he nukes Metropolis. And so, yeah, just not a good look. Hey, Lark, do you think that, think of the canonized theory that there was more than one Joker? I'm not sure. It depends on the timeline, because Batman talked with, like, a computer, something that knows all things. It's like, what's the identity of the Joker? And it's like, oh, there's 3 of them. And I don't know if that's still canon, whether they're going to retcon that out of existence one day. It's weird. If Spawn got his hands on the Joker, Batman wouldn't be able to stop what's from happening. Nope. People were protesting at Arkham in clown masks. Well, lock them. They're crazy. Lock them up and throw them in Arkham. Yeah, let's see. Play GTAO. And Oppenheimer? Perry the Oppenheimer! Perry the Platypus has been given thermonuclear launch codes. What shall we do? Was it Batman who said that the dumbest line, if you kill a killer, the number of killers in the world stay the same? I think some writer made Batman say that. I think that's very, but yeah, and I agree that's silly and stupid logic. Because as Red Hood will happily tell you, well, if I just kill more than that, we're still getting a net loss there. The Apostle Paul, if he were writing to American churches, oh, those would be some interesting letters.
All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. I had to step away for a minute, use the bathroom. All right. We're probably going to start wrapping this up soon because we both got early work tomorrow. Lark's got school and I've got Longhorns, so we're going to go ahead and start Breach. Probably only do 1 or 2 matches. But we did want to get in a quick stream for you guys.
Imagine if AI or Lark joined the Justice League. Oh, they'd deactivate me in a heartbeat. Because I'd be more annoying than Brainiac. What if one person kills a million people? What if one person kills a million killers? Then I believe he unlocks a kill streak and gets a nuke. But I don't know, it's been a while since we played Call of Duty. I remember there was an episode where Joker had a panic attack because he was close to death at the hands of a random nobody. Oh, I remember that one.
I think I remember something like that because Joker doesn't want to go after a random nobody.
If Batman doesn't want to kill fly, but don't stop others from doing it. Exactly.
Yeah, I actually there was this one comic where Joker had basically burned down Bruce's home, given a toxic amount of laughing gas to Alfred, and Batman had him tied up and he was going to blow it with a bomb and he was going to prove that Batman would still save him. You know, even after all he'd done, Batman would still save him. But then along comes Harley, who's done with the Joker at this point, and she grabs a part of the bomb with her and then runs off. Because Batman now has a choice. He can either save her or save the Joker. She's going to make sure that the Joker dies. So Batman walks off and leaves the Joker.
Yeah, there's also been a few times where you sort of let nature take its course, like famously in Batman Begins. It's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. Like with Ra's al Ghul, then there was also one instance like he was in the wilderness and he beat somebody up, but like he needed medical attention, and he also knew that like one of the Robins in Batgirl needed medical attention, so he started wandering like, wait, you can't leave me here, I'll die. It's like, I'm not going to kill you, but you dug your own grave. I have to take care of other people, so good luck, champ.
Yeah, Batman's priority should always be first and foremost to the people. I think that's something that people forget, like, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I don't mind Batman killing. I mean, I think it's cool that he doesn't. I think that there's something noble about that, but I wouldn't mind him killing a villain because I think that it shows that he's willing to put the lives of the innocent over the lives of the evil. But let me be clear about something else. You know, the fact that he doesn't kill means that in the rare, very rare moments where he does kill or allow someone to die, that it becomes that much more meaningful. Like, think about it. The Punisher kills a bad guy. It's not all that meaningful. I mean, you just you expect that from the Punisher, right? But with Batman, if he kills someone, it's like, whoa, you know? Like, I remember the comic where, in the alternate version of Injustice, where Joker nearly gets away with what he was planning to do to Superman, but they manage to stop him in time, so Superman and his family's alive, but Superman's about to kill Joker, and then Batman goes, no, let me deal with this. And Joker's kind of laughing about the fact that, oh man, I almost had him, but what do you think I should try next time, you know? Then they stop in front of the police station. Batman then reaches over, breaks Joker's neck, gets up, turns himself in. And when Superman learns what Batman did, and Batman explains that he did it for him,
he literally walks through this prison cell to go hug Bruce.
Well, his reason was because you're the best of us. I don't want you corrupted. Because then the Joker wins, and it's like he's got a point. Joker found out their big weakness. If you can corrupt Superman, you've broken the Justice League. You know.
And then Superman raises his daughter, and the daughter always remembers visiting Uncle Bruce. Which, honestly, I think my favorite interactions between Superman and Batman aren't when they're fighting. It's when they're being friends.
Right. I genuinely, like, one thing, the way I look at it was, Superman was the heart of the Justice League, Batman was the soul. Because I feel like, with Batman, he's unbreakable. You know, that's the cool thing about Batman. You know, Batman always talks about I have contingency plans in case I ever turn rogue. But you know he never will. That's the thing. You know,
serious mind control.
It would take some serious shit to happen for Batman to ever turn on the Justice League. So, but Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, all them, I could see it happening. I could see them turning one way or another. Batman, I could never see him turning.
I do like that Batman explains why he doesn't kill, though. He knows that it'd be too easy, and he won't be able to stop himself from doing it again.
Right, and no, don't get me wrong. Here's the thing. I understand and I appreciate why Batman doesn't kill. I just think that practically, though, Gotham would be a lot safer if he did kill. At least, like, what I would do, here's the problem. My problem isn't even with Batman, it's with Gotham City's justice system. Because I'm kind of like, okay, how many times does Batman need to put away the same damn criminals before you just say, you know what? Let's give these boys the needle, you know?
Yep. But then again, there's also some writers who will have Batman like try and like stop the death penalty or other stuff, and stuff like no, you can't do that.
No, he won't do that because Batman always believes that death should belong in the hands of the people. You know, the government should decide when a person needs to be killed. Batman doesn't want to be that person. That's the thing.
I also love in the Injustice 2 game. It's like, okay, I know we're facing an apocalyptic level threat here, but we don't kill. Like, we're a war champ.
Yeah, no, that was the one moment in Injustice when they're fighting Brainiac. I'm like, shut up.
Superman just said, listen, I get it. I really do, but are you high?
Like, no, I'm like, we can't kill Brainiac. The only reason I could understand is when Batman says we don't know how to work the technology, we may need him alive to save everyone. Okay, that I get, but other than that, I'm kind of like, no, you have no reason to leave him alive.
Yeah. Such silliness.
This is why Batman isn't fastest. He doesn't take out... Exactly, he doesn't take out the power. He doesn't want it.
Yeah.
He does not want power.
He would sooner deduct Alfred's pay.
Yeah.
But it's kind of sad in Injustice 2 when Red Hood's the voice of reason. It's like, what if we just killed some people? It's like, you know, the ones that are like unrepentant. Because like your Penguins, your Riddlers, you might be able to get them to turn around someday. Like your Captain Cold, you could get them to turn maybe. But
there ought to be a limit, you know. It's like, okay, after the 3 strikes, you're out. How about that?
Like one of the superhero concepts I came up for was like an idea like he would find you and then he would brand you. If you like, that was your warning. You are now like you can be redeemed, or if I have to come find you again, you're dead. Okay, I've got for my story marquee. Any advice on writing a fantasy religion, making your pantheon?
When you're making a fantasy religion, the key is to understand. Well, first of all, you need to understand whether or not the religion is even real or not. Like, are these gods that they're worshiping actually real in this world, or are they just things they made up? But more importantly, you need to understand the culture of the people that you're creating them for, because, like I said, all religion comes from a background of culture. Like, do you have a war god, and where does the war god sit on the pantheon? If yours is a culture that builds itself on war, then the war god would probably be one of the most important figures. If you're a society that believes firmly in the power of the sun and what it does, then the sun god would be the most prominent. If like stuff like that, you need to understand which gods are going to be the most prominent in the hierarchy based on what the culture values. You also need to understand what the gods demand. See, that's the thing. Every religion boils down to one thing. What are you supposed to do with your life? That's what all religions are demanding of you. A religion is basically the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? Because everyone wants to know the answer to that question. Religion gives the answer to that. So you need to have that answer for your own religion. What do the gods want from people? How do they want them to live, and why? And what will they be given for living that way? And what will they be denied if they don't live that way? So, for example, let's say that your gods say, killing is wrong. Okay, killing is wrong. Why is killing wrong? Because the gods value life and they don't want killing. All right, what about exceptions? What if this guy does me dirty? What if this guy steals from me? What if this guy kills my wife? What if this guy does that? What do the gods say to that? Do the gods say, okay, well, in that case, it's okay to kill? Okay, you've got to make sure you understand where the gods draw the line and where they don't and why they do that. And it's fine if you want to draw a line in a different place. You know, that's fine. I get that. But you need to make sure you have an answer as to why, because that's one of the things you need to understand about that religion. And then the second aspect that you need to consider is you need to understand the punishment and reward for service. So, for example, most religions say if you behave or do this, then you'll receive paradise after you die. And others, and they also say, but if you don't live this way, then you will receive damnation after you die. Some religions say that, but then others, like Buddhism, say if you live a good life, you'll be reincarnated up the social hierarchy, or the racial hierarchy, or the species hierarchy, until you become a god, and then eventually you become a Buddha. You become one with the universe.
The gods teach humanity/humanities to the people.
They teach humanity/humanities, but aren't the people human?
Already, so when you say humanities, you know, history, literature.
I don't. I would need more explanation on that point.
Was there a civilization that didn't have any religion? Would it even be called a civilization?
Almost every civilization in the ancient world had some kind of belief structure or system.
I can't think of any ancient religion.
And the reason why is because every ancient culture wanted an answer to the question of why. And since they didn't have the scientific know-how to answer some of those questions, it was easier to assume that there was a creator. Because keep in mind, our species recognizes a truth, that nothing in this world could exist unless there was a creator that made it, you know? We understand that our ancestors understood better than we do that there are things that just don't happen by chance. There are things that don't just happen by, random luck or random luck of the draw. That there are some things that require divine guidance or divine intervention. And so they created gods, they created religions, they created rules to live by because they wanted structure to their society and a better way to understand why things were the way they were. When my child dies, why does that happen? And is there someone who cares? When we go to war, why are we at war and who are we fighting for? Why do I need food to eat? What things should I eat? Can I marry this person? What happens when someone wrongs me? We want answers to those questions. Religion often gives those answers. And so every culture in history has tried to provide an answer. Atheism as a concept is actually a recent phenomenon in the grand scheme of existence.
At least it is a largely intellectual process.
Right. And the reason why is because people have started realizing something that they didn't want to think about in the past. That if there are gods or a god, then we're answerable to them. Here's the thing. We like to think, oh, God is a loving God. God cares about us. He wants what's best for us, which is true. But at the end of the day, we also have to recognize there's going to come a day where we're answerable, and the things we like to do, he may not like us doing. So what happens when you want to sleep around with whoever you want? What happens when you want to steal from your neighbor? What happens when you want to do wrong? Well, that God that you claim you believe in may not like that and may have a punishment in store for you. Well, rather than change your own ways, it's better to just deny that God exists. But how can you prove that since the entire world has accepted the existence of a God or gods? Well, we have science. Science is our explanation of the world around us. Science is our explanation about how things happen naturally. Therefore, I shall worship this. I will assume that everything happened this way. However, to subscribe to that way of thinking is to say that you believe in absolute natural chance in all things. And there's a problem with that, because if you believe that everything happened by chance, you have more faith than people who believe in a sky daddy. I think the best way to look at it is the way that it was explained to me. You could tell an atheist, if you took a perfectly good working watch, threw it into a bag, and shook that bag for 10 million years, what are the odds that you would pull out a fully functioning, working watch? And then they may say, oh, well, the odds may be high, but you can't prove it couldn't happen. And I'm like, you know what, you're right, I can't prove it couldn't happen. Who caused the bag to shake? See, that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, no matter how much you want, and usually when you talk to an atheist, their usual response is, I don't know. Well, then, what do you want me to say? I have an answer. And while I can't prove 100% that it's the right answer, you don't even have an answer to offer. Here's the difference. Let's say that I'm taking a test, right? Let's say that I'm taking an exam in high school or in college, and I just don't give any answers. I just give no answers, and I just hand in a blank test paper. While my neighbor fills out everything. The teacher looks over them. One of them at least gave answers and wrote their name on the paper. The other guy didn't write any, and he takes the two aside. You got everything wrong, and you didn't even answer. What's the deal? And then one of them says, the one who wrote everything that got everything wrong basically says, at least I tried. And then the teacher could go, yeah, you know what? At least you did try. You wrote your name on it and everything. You gave it a shot. And you explained where you got your answers from. You at least showed your work so I can see where you went wrong. What about you? You didn't put anything on. Well, I can't claim to know. So at least I wasn't arrogant enough to assume I know things I don't know. Yeah, but it's still a 0, dude. You still got nothing.
Hey, Raven Lark, why'd you choose Christianity as opposed to other religions?
For one thing, we were raised Christian, so that helped. But as I grew older, I'll be honest, I wasn't a very good Christian growing up as a kid because I didn't know how much I believed and how much I was really ascribing to it. I kind of saw it as something that my parents wanted me to believe and that I wasn't sure about. But then by the time I reached high school, I started to realize that this is true because I started looking into it, thinking about it, listening to what other people said. I started understanding history more, understanding how accurate so much of this was. I began to feel God speaking to me, which was a sobering situation. And then while I was at a camp called Camp McCall, I felt God kind of call out to me and say, Raven, I want your heart. And that's something that God has been repeating to me constantly, all I want is your heart. I want you to follow me. And that is a sobering thing, you know?
Yep. For me personally, I have had personal instances that I would call interactions with divine. But the big thing for me was I looked into historical record, I looked into all this stuff, and I found that I find we know for a fact Jesus was a real person and he existed. And looking at all the evidence laid out from the gospel and other sources around the time, the people that were around Jesus at the time, the disciples, they believed Jesus was who he says he was and that he resurrected. And the best explanation that fills in that story is that, based on all the evidence available, is that he was who he said he was and he was resurrected. And from that there, we can go and look through the rest of the Bible is what it claims to be. And so from there, Christianity, to me, not only makes any sense, I view it as the truth. And so, and here's another thing. It feels when you choose a religion, you should choose a religion if you think it's true.
Right. I don't believe just what people tell you to believe.
Yeah. Because I think that I've met people that are I worship the Norse gods. I'm like, oh, why do you believe in the Norse gods? Like, well, I don't actually believe. I just think it's cool, so I practice. You're claiming to be practicing a religion that you don't really practice because you think it's cool. I've also met people who's well, I subscribe to Buddhism. So you believe? And I was well, I like some of it, but I don't necessarily believe. Okay, so you're just doing it because you like certain practices of it, but you don't believe in what you say. Practice a religion because it's what you believe, not because it's cool or you like certain aspects of it. Is it a sin to fight? Depends on the context.
Is it a sin to fight? Many people think that it is because of Jesus saying, "Turn the other cheek." People misunderstand that verse. Jesus is saying, "Turn the other cheek." Don't overreact to insults. Because at the time period, slapping someone on the cheek was a major insult, and you were called on to strike back. You know, Jesus is saying, "No, turn the other cheek so they can slap the other one. Show how little you care about it." But Jesus also told his disciples, if you have a purse but no sword, sell your tunic and use what you have to buy a sword. Because Jesus knew that we would run into transgressions and need to defend ourselves.
The thing is, you shouldn't go actively seeking a fight. That being said, you shouldn't just necessarily cower down and whimper.
You have to ask yourself, is something worth fighting and dying for?
That's why the Ten Commandments you say it's thou shalt not murder, not thou shalt not kill.
Many people think it's the other way around.
Because also, if somebody attacks you and is trying to hurt you or your family, you have every right to defend yourself. Religion still lets you think freely and speak your mind. Cults, on the other hand, essentially strip you of your free will.
Usually.
That is a good way to look at a cult. Hey, Raven Lark, what would you think an alien religion would be like? It's kind of interesting to see. It would be wild if we found an alien race and they worshiped and they were Christians too. That'd be hilarious.
That would be interesting.
But I guess it depends on the type of alien you find. If they're humanoid like us, you could find various types of religions. They may be polytheists. They may have their they may sort of have some form of animism. And you got like the Covenant, where they worship the technology of other aliens that came before. Who knows?
Hey Raven, I believe that the universe is an endless cycle of big bangs and big crunches.
Okay.
Cool. Fine. That's fine.
That's what you believe.
If that's what you believe, I'm fine with that. But I always ask the same question in regards to the Big Bang. What caused it?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, well, it's a cycle. Well, something started the cycle.
It goes back to what I said. If you believe that you can get a fully functioning watch from shaking the pieces in a bag and say that's totally possible without a God, I'd say, sorry, you shook the bag. That implies a creator.
It's like, well, there's an explosion that was caused by a crunch that was caused by an explosion before. Okay, what caused the initial explosion that got this cycle going?
Exactly. Something had to kick it off. Something had to start it.
Hey, Ravenlock, what are your thoughts on the government confirming aliens are real? They didn't confirm aliens are real. All they confirmed was that the thing that crashed in Roswell wasn't human, which tells me nothing, because from previous information that we knew, Roswell was like a weather balloon of some kind, and so this is like, oh, there's biotics in it. Bacteria counts as biotics.
They'll say anything they can to sell a narrative.
Yeah, the reason that they were that forthcoming with it makes me believe, one, it's BS. Two, they're trying to distract us from something else. It's like, I want to believe in aliens, but the fact that the government just comes out and tells me makes me not believe it. That is how big my distrust in the government is. Has there ever been a religion that tries to merge most of the big ones together? Yes.
Yes.
Manichaeism. Manichaeism tried to merge like Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, and Christianity together by claiming like Zoroaster, Buddha, and Jesus were all one prophet. Or not one prophet, but they were all prophets of the same religion. That Manichae or whatever his name was the final one. But yeah, that religion started to take off, and then Islam crushed it. Islam also has tried to claim to be the next successor of
Christianity and Judaism.
Yeah, so there's that. So
Islam actually, the way I've always looked at Islam is it's a faith that basically stole everything from Judaism and Christianity and said, yeah, we're that, but better.
I like to think of it as, like, that's it. There's the same Gili religion of celestialism, a pantheon of three major star gods and a bunch of minor gods.
It's hilarious that Christians believe that God is an eternal being without beginning or end, but they don't believe the universe can be the same way. Kensei, we do believe the universe is eternal and constantly growing. Where the F do you get your information? Do you go to Reddit, or does it just spew out of your mouth without thinking? Here's my issue, dude. My issue is not with what you believe. It is that you are coming here with the express purpose to piss us off. You know we're Christian. You know what we believe, and you're mocking it openly in our stream. And I'd like to know why. If you want to ask a question, ask a question. But if all you're here to do is mock my faith, you can leave. You don't want to learn, you ignore every question I ask you. Every time I ask you a question to clarify something, you ignore it and jump to your next one. And usually your excuse is, well, there's a lag. I don't give a damn. If you want to ask me about my faith or learn about it, you can certainly ask a question. But if you're going to sit there and say, I think it's hilarious this, then you can leave. I'm glad that my faith is a big joke to you, and I'm glad it could get a laugh out of you. But I'm not here to entertain you with jokes about my faith.
Kensei, let me put it to you this way. You have troubles, like you think it's funny that we can't believe the universe is eternal, or we can believe in a God that is. Because you're asking the natural world, the material world, and saying that has to exist in perpetuity. We don't necessarily, some of us may not necessarily believe that. But here's the thing. The God that is the uncaused first cause, a God that exists outside of the material realm, does not have to obey by material and physical laws. It created them. That is how creationism works. So when you're trying to argue, just like you should, it's actually funnier from the reverse angle. You're saying you can't believe in a God that is eternal, but you can believe in the material universe is, especially when there's a series of explosions that caused it. Because if there's an explosion, that means something had to cause that explosion. And so I think it's a little bit easier for us to argue that the universe had a definite start point, and that there is a God outside of it that created it, than there is to say, well, it's just always been happening in a cycle.
And your issue is, you asked how the universe was created. No, we were explaining the Christian understanding of the creation of the universe and how we discussed that in terms of versus the Big Bang. You came in and said, I think it's hilarious that Christians believe this, which we were not talking about. We were not talking about the concept of an infinite universe. We were not talking about the concept of infinite gods versus infinite universes. We never brought that up. That was not something we said. That was not something we discussed. We were talking about the issue with Big Bang Theory and why it doesn't work to disprove God. You brought this up because you wanted to come up with something that you thought could ridicule our faith, even though you have been told again and again that we're not here to have that. We're not here to hear you ridicule our faith. If you want to talk to us about our faith, we can talk to you about our faith. If you have questions about what we believe, we can answer those questions about what we believe. But if all you want to do is get a chuckle out of what we believe, then go watch a sermon and treat it as a comedy tour. I've never met a single Christian who said that the universe isn't infinite. And even if I did, I can believe they're wrong. There's nothing in the Christian doctrine that says that the universe isn't infinite. It was created by God, who exists outside of time and space. He is also infinite. God does not have a set time or space in which he inhabits because he lives outside of it. The universe is in his hands because he exists beyond it. How is that hilarious? It is an understanding of something that we cannot possibly begin to comprehend or understand.
Again, so why can't you just respect his belief? I may not be the religious type, but I won't like disrespecting someone else's faith. And I think that's the big thing here. Kinsey, you constantly, I know you're an atheist, I know you don't believe, but you quite often come into our streams and you start bringing up these topics. The first interaction that I think we ever had with you was you criticizing Christianity. You know our stance on Christianity, you know how we feel about Christianity, and yet you feel compelled to constantly bring it up. And I don't mean this in an insulting way, but I have to ask, what is your purpose here? Why do you keep bringing it up?
I also think it's funny because you said at the end of our last stream that from now on we should talk about literature instead of religion. Yes, I know we're talking about religion right now, but you could just ignore that conversation and ask other questions. We'd still answer them. But you want to insult religion.
Can say you know it's a typo.
Raven, do you think aliens are actually demons? No.
Not necessarily.
Oh, they wouldn't be that blatant. This will be the last match of the night. One more match, then we're going to call it. That's what I did. I brought up my story.
And you were fine when you just did that.
Yes, we answered your question. We discussed that. We talked about your story. And then you came in and mocked my religion. Stop trying to play the victim here, Kinsey.
I'm thinking about making a story where every religion's gods are 100% real. What do you think? I think other people have worked with that concept.
People have worked with that concept. It's difficult, but it can be done. I'm curious to see how you go about it.
Yeah, because you got to be like I've seen some people. What they do is like they have like the Judeo-Christian God as sort of the chief, but you have several other pantheons that sort of like work underneath it or trying to avoid him. Like Supernatural, they toyed with that where you had God and then you had pagan gods who were running around doing separate things. You got to be creative to work with that kind of stuff.
What do you think of the theory that Bigfoot is actually Cain? I think that's ridiculous.
I've never heard that until now.
That's ridiculous.
That's just American Gods. Oh yeah, because what was his name? Comic writer did something along those lines.
My mom believes that the pagan gods do exist but are lesser deities.
Interesting.
Interesting theory.
I've heard some, like, there's also a popular theory that goes around that pagan deities are demons. American Gods, Barbecue Master, Florida Man, AR-15. And yeah, I really don't know other than that Yosemite part.
So you're basically saying that the gods are limited to the places that they're being worshipped. I mean, that's an interesting concept, I suppose.
I heard a theory that pagan heroes were Nephilim. I've heard that theory too.
I've heard that too, yeah.
Interesting to explore. Slap it. Keep on looking back at the comment where it says that's just American Gods ice, but I keep on saying that's just American Gods on ice.
Ah.
It's like some sort of like skate show.
Like it's a skating show. American Gods on ice.
Yep. What exactly are Nephilim?
In the book of Genesis, before the time of Noah, it says that the children of God saw the children of man and found them greatly appealing and mated with them, and that created the giants, and those giants were called the Nephilim. We don't know much more than that about them. Marquis is still a very new story idea, so I don't have much to work with yet. Do you like the name? I don't really care.
Depends really on, like, does the name match the story? Because Marquis is like a title.
Again, I don't really care.
Jews. We're Jews in space.
That was a good song.
Yeah.
Needed to be finished. Hey Raven, can you say your favorite Bible verse? Ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen for thine inheritance, and for thy possessions the ends of the earth. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and thou shalt dash their dreams to pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise, therefore, ye kings. Be modest, ye judges of the earth. You must serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish in the way. Psalms 2. It's one of my favorites. I also, of course, love John 3:16. It's an excellent one.
I'm telling in a funny mood, Psalms 38:7.
Psalms 38:7.
King James Version. But there's a terrible pain in my loins, and there's no health in my body. That's a fun one to tell your friends. Like, yeah, you look like you might need to read this. And they're like, what the heck's wrong with you? It's like, I just told you, there's a pain in my loins.
Yep.
Oh, King James Version. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Can you
King James is very funny.
Can you understand it as well? No. But can you get some great lines out of it? Absolutely.
Hey, Raven and Laura, do you think God can be sassy? I think he can. I think God can react in ironic ways.
I think
like, for example, there's a story in the book of Judges where God said, one of the judges was a woman named Deborah. She was a judge over Israel. And God told Deborah, all right, Deborah, you are going to wipe out this enemy of Israel. Go tell the general to rally his forces and you're going to beat him. And she said, all right. And she said, go out and fight. And the general said, oh, I'm afraid to fight. I'm afraid. I'll only do it if you'll come with me. I want you there with me, Deborah. And Deborah said, all right, I'll go with you to the battlefield, but on one condition. If I join you on the battlefield, you will not be the one who kills the king of the enemy. It will be a woman who kills him. And he thinks that that's going to be Deborah. And he's like, all right, that's fine. So they go out to fight. The king is losing, so he retreats from the battlefield and finds a random peasant woman out in a tent and asks if he can stay there. She knows who he is and offers to let him sleep there. He falls asleep in her bed, and then she takes a tent stake and slams it through his head. A woman ended up killing him. So God can have some, all right, play that game and find out moment.
One of my personal favorites is Elijah like goes up in a mountain and he's like, I want to die, why don't you just let me die? God says, all right, here, eat this and like get some sleep. Wakes up, do you feel better now? Literally, like I want to die, go take, here's a snack and a nap, you'll be fine. Literally, it's like, Elijah, you're not you when you're hungry, have a Snickers bar.
Then, of course, there is also the book of Job, where God puts Job through the ringer. And then in the end, Job is like, why did you do this to me, God? How could you do this to me? I can't believe you did this to me. Why? And then God calls him up, Job, you want to know why? You think you can understand me so easily? All right, let's play a game. Can you explain the universe? Were you there when I made it? No, maybe that was a tough one. Okay, let's try another one. Can you explain the oceans and the land and the mountains? Can you explain those to me? Can you explain how those are made and why they are the way they are? Okay, sorry, that one was a little tough too. How about the crocodile and the hippo? Can you explain why they are the way they are? Can you possibly fathom those creatures and what it took to make those? Can you understand that? And Job is just shutting up at this point, like, no, Lord, I don't.
Reminds me of the Prince of Egypt scene where it's just like I can't do this. I can't speak. Like, who made man's mouth?
Isn't your shtick history and literature? Why do people ask so many religion-based questions? There are other channels that focus entirely on that topic. Because I am a Christian and I have told people that I'm willing to answer their questions, because I'm not just a writer and a historian, I'm also a discipler. I'm someone who goes forward and obeys the Great Commission and preaches to people about my faith. And there are lots of people with questions about my faith, and I would not be doing my diligence to the Lord if I ignored those questions. If your issue is that I'm religious, then I'm sorry, but I'm not changing.
Let's see, evolution. I mean, technically yes, but you're asking a guy from like the area at the end of the patriarchs to explain the entire cosmological existence. That's a bit even for someone today. It's like you may be able to explain like the big steps of evolution, but explaining it all in like this detail of the guy who created it. It's almost as if religion has played a massive part in history. Who knew? Very well said, Jack.
And the Bible is one of the most recognized literature pieces of all time.
Yep. Hey Raven, how monstrous can I make monsters and demons? I was thinking about like making the worst one violate the children, like physical abuse, mental abuse, but I struggle why he does it. Well, if you're making a monster for monster's sake, you can do that. If you want to have a greater reason for it, you're going to have to know how to explain that.
It's not difficult to make a monster who does things just for the sake of being monstrous. You can do that. And if they're just evil for evil's sake, you don't need necessarily an underlying reason. They may just do it because being evil for them may be fun, or it may be what they aspire to do. Doesn't necessarily have to be an underlying cause there. Mm-hmm. I mean, the demons and Satan try to destroy humanity and do the things they do because they want to see God's creation destroyed. They are jealous that God loves us. They hate us because we were created by God. And they want to see us destroyed to... Basically, the way I look at it is that Satan lost to God, and now he's pitching a hissy fit and wants to break as many of his daddy's things as he possibly can. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what he's doing.
The nice thing about monsters is that it's not unreasonable for them to have different psychology than humans.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they don't all have to be Thanos.
Yeah, like Shambursky also did have had a great video on like make monsters more monstrous again.
Yeah, he was talking about Goblin Slayer, I think.
Yeah, he was. It was a response to Goblin Slayer because people were like, man, Goblin Slayer episode 1 went too far. And he's like, I would have made it go far. Like, and I'll let you watch his video, but it's very good.
Has anyone in history tried to make a false sequel or continuation of the Bible? Yes.
Let's see. We call, from the Christian perspective, the Quran is a heretical, tried to be a continuation of it. There's also several books that were left out of the Bible because the church fathers viewed them as being bogus. Like there's the Gospel of Thomas, or the Gospel of Judas, which was written 200 years after the event, so you know it's bogus. And then people would also argue the Book of Mormon is a failed sequel.
Then the Quran is another example, kind of like a sequel.
Yeah. So yeah, people have tried to add on. You could also then again argue Manichaeism again. So yeah, people have tried. I wonder what Satan would think if someone made a hissy fit comparison to his face.
I'm sure he knows what we think of him.
I would not be surprised if he tangled with some angels and the angels go, "Oh look, little Lucy's upset again." It's like, shut up. It's like, nah, look at him go.
It's not that I want to make light of the evil that is the devil, but understanding him in that sense is kind of humorous.
Dante's Inferno and all that's literally Bible fan fiction. It is fan fiction, but Dante expects you to take it as fan fiction because a lot of it was like political cartoons, if you will.
Like, he wasn't out there expecting anyone to take it seriously.
Well, I mean, he didn't expect people to take it theologically seriously.
Right. He wanted his criticisms to be heard, though.
Yeah. It's like when you're kicking a pope in the 9th level of hell.
Yeah.
You can tell he was trying to get something off his chest. The only thing that I might, I don't know, there's a whole side conversation going on there. Let's see. Hey Raven, when will you do a video playing the game with Havoc again?
I don't know. I haven't heard from Havoc in a few days. He hasn't even told me what he thinks of my video of the Ultra and Ruth Part 2. I haven't heard a thing from him about that. He said, when it first came out, he said that he was out of the house at the time and he'd watch it when he got back. And I said, hey, that's no problem. I didn't catch the premiere either because I was out of town. But I haven't heard from him since. So I don't know if he's even watched it.
We don't know what he's got going on, so we need to hear from him first.
Yeah, he's got to reach out to us before we can do anything like that. Yeah. Glad y'all enjoyed it, though.
Yeah. I think it's fun. He always made fun of Hitler a lot, so there's precedent for good to mock evil. Oh, yeah. I mean, Jesus poked fun at people that were being silly.
Yeah, Jesus mocked the Pharisees.
So there is precedent. Someone who writes fan fictions where fire kicks Trump in the nuts is still technically a fan fiction. Yeah, but there's good fan fiction and there's just trite writing. So that's the thing. Like Dante's good fan. Like I would argue it's good fan fiction as it's well written. But then there's other stuff like the Gospel of Thomas, which is just Gnostics trying to, try to justify their existence.
Is Ruth and Ultor going to be a series?
We'll see.
I don't know. I was going to make it a 3-parter story, but now I'm wondering if I'll even go to part 3.
Are the names Uther and Ulthor linguistically related?
No. I made Ruth without even knowing what Ultor was. Ultor was invented after I invented Ruth, and the person who invented the name Ultor was Eridalupi, who probably didn't know about Ruth. So no, they're not linguistically connected.
Gnostics were the OG edgelords. Some of them, yeah, definitely. Gnostics are pretty much their own religion. Yeah, they pretty much did form their own religion, and then they got salty when other Christians pointed out their heresy. Hey, Raven, gotta head out. Thanks for the stream, and until next time and far beyond, may God keep you in the palm of His hand. Stay bold, brother.
Thank you, my friend.
No, not Ruth. Ulthar. Or Uther.
I don't know how Eridalupi designed Ultor's name. I do not know where that came from.
Yep.
So I have no idea.
Who can say? Any other questions though while we're wrapping up? I wonder if the Black Friars were originally supposed to be Gnostics in the old lore. Probably not. Let's see. I haven't seen the Book of Mormon, but I've heard it's funny. Our father is he has a Mormon neighbor who they're good friends with each other, and he's trying to bring him over to Christ. And so he's going through the Book of Mormon right now, and he's just like, this stuff is odd, man.
Well, I know that Ultor means Punisher, but I don't know how it connects to Uther. That's the thing.
What was the main appeal of Arianism? I really don't see much appeal in it at all, but
Me neither.
The real appeal was some people were having trouble balancing the idea that Jesus was God, and so Arianism like, oh no, Jesus was not God. He wasn't even divine. He was just powered by God. And so for some people, they viewed that as a little easier to wrap their heads around.
From Latin Gultorus, which I think means avenger.
Okay.
You know, I find it hilarious when people who claim to be from Japan think that they can speak every language, when in reality they know the bare minimum of all of them, and trust in Google to tell them everything.
What's the most ancient religion that we know of today? Judaism or Zoroastrianism?
Those are the two oldest, I think.
Why did Arianism fail? Council of Nicaea told Arius, the guy who made it, to basically take a hike, and then he went over to some German tribes like the Vandals and such. They converted to Arianism, but eventually they converted to the more Orthodox Christianity.
Well, anyway, we're going to have to call it there, folks. I'm getting tired, and of course we have work tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight. We had a good time. Tomorrow, if I'm feeling up to it and I'm not too tired from work, we will do Mass Effect. So I never said I speak Latin. Yes, but you claim you speak Japanese, and I've proven that you don't. So we're going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys so much for showing up tonight. We had a good time. And as always, guys, we will see you in our next video. Take care.
Have a good one, fellas.